China has built 500 entire cities from huge population from poverty to the middle class, cornered the market in 5G. Anywhere in the world these days, you better have a yen for travel. China alone, they have 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. America has none. Our fastest train is the tram that goes around the zoo in this impacted colon of a country. China sees a problem, and they fix it. They build a dam. We debate what to rename it. That's why their airports look like this, and ours look like this. 2 bus lines through environmental review. In Boston, took 16 years, 37-story skyscraper in 19 days. The San Yuan Bridge in Beijing in 43 hours. We binge watch, they binge build. We're not losing to China.
外国名嘴到访中国，刚落地就被惊呆了，直言我们彻底输了。第一段。
What's your impression of China?
Colors, just everything you see is bright and colorful.
It's a very historic country.
Big. Big, a lot of people and a lot of disciplined people. The buildings, like the beautiful temples and stuff.
A lot of people, like really crowded.
I think a big economic powerhouse that is going to be one of the major countries in the next few years, definitely.
I can only think about their food, really. That's it.
They've got good food.
Yeah. Very fast-paced.
They've got quite a lot of power climate-wise as well for influencing the rest of the world.
I studied at Beijing University and Fudan University as well.
What has your experience been like living in China?
Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was literally the best experience of my life.
I think we're very dependent on them. I think that's good. You know, there's a good connection with us, yeah.
I've actually been there quite a few times. I love the place. I love the culture.
What is your impression of the Chinese people?
Friendly?
Yeah.
Friendly? Yeah, I like them. My housemate's Chinese, so we get along really well.
They seem pretty reserved. Like, I think it's quite a conservative culture from what I've seen and heard of.
What language do they speak in China?
Chinese? Mandarin.
Mandarin?
Yes. So what language do they speak in China?
Chinese, I think? No? Mandarin.
Mandarin.
第二段。
Inizia la festa del Qingming, ci sono 3 giorni di ferie. Oggi mi trovo nella provincia dello Sichuan, nella città di Chengdu, che è una delle mete preferite per i cinesi, anche per gli stranieri che vengono in Cina, prima del Covid, per viaggio, ed è una delle mete che i cinesi scelgono come prima tappa durante le ferie. In questi giorni ho la fortuna di essere in questa città e in un periodo in cui all'estero da noi non ci si può muovere ancora da una città all'altra, da un paese all'altro, qui ci sono un sacco di persone, moltissime persone hanno scelto di venire ancora a Chengdu per viaggiare e sembra che si siano dimenticati di questa pandemia. Qui siamo nella via principale di Chengdu e come avevo detto anche nello scorso video per quello che è successo nello Xinjiang e del cotone, come potete vedere anche qui posso notare che c'è un negozio di vestiti cinesi, un brand cinese pieno di gente e da parte il negozio Adidas completamente vuoto. Adesso vi devo dare una bella sorpresa. Pensate che dietro di me ci siano molte persone.
第三段。
This is the Shanghai port, the busiest in the world. It's the supersized facility that makes China's record-breaking international trade possible.
I could not be any more excited. I couldn't be any more excited. Look at it, look at the bloody size of that. It's the biggest container dock in the world. Look at him. Just, he blows your bloody mind, doesn't he? Like, for example, like the biggest dock in the UK, Felixstowe, at 13 square miles. That's a bloody fair size, 13 square miles. Here we are, Shanghai, 1,400 square miles. 1,400 square miles. That's another level. I love me docks.
第四段。
Whopping great bridge. It's the largest valley suspension bridge in the world.
Wow, Mr. Ouyang. Oh, what a magnificent bridge.
The bridge is 3/4 of a mile long and sits more than 1,000 feet above the valley floor.
What do you think this bridge tells us about where China's at right now?
我们国家在桥梁建设这一块，因为有一个很大的舞台，绝对没有差距。应该讲在某些程度上还领先。
You're saying you're more advanced than the West?
不差。
His pride in China's achievements is not surprising. The country is now home to 7 of the 10 longest bridges in the world, and incredibly, they've all been.
第五段。
And that nice place, you know. the culture, the food, the language.
It seems very nice. The food, the people, very energetic town. Yeah.
I think this is very interesting, especially now when it's developing so fast. And I think the Chinese culture is really interesting as well.
Magic. It's so different from.
第6段
Might just actually be the safest country in the world, in the entire world. Apart from taxis driving on the other side of the road, it might just be one of the most safest countries in the world. Compared to, for example, in the UK, where I come from, England, you know, the mean streets of England, it's very, very safe indeed. So I thought I'd just show you the streets at night and do a mad moped video and see what it's like on the streets.
第7段
The dark side of the moon. Do you think the Russians don't know that for the first time since John Glenn was sent up to orbit this planet, America cannot put a person into space without asking the Russians to do it? Do you think the rest of the world doesn't know that we're not investing in our infrastructure? That we're not investing in the young generation of Americans? That we're willing to lose the race for artificial intelligence to the Chinese? That we're going to break all of our long-standing alliances since World War II at a moment when China is rising? The China's GDP has quadrupled since 2001, tripled since 2003, doubled since...
第8段
Do you think are in the United States? None. How many do you think are in Europe? None. It's remarkable what is happening here. Now, is it remarkable in some senses? Yes, of course it is, but we go back to this point, that China has been a dominant economic power through human history. It comes because of the Central Plain, which I was walking right across, between the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. It's an immensely fertile plain. It's surrounded by hills which protect it from invaders. So not surprisingly, it was always going to be a place where civilization...
第9段
5 minutes in the car from the airport to town. And let's see how long it takes in maglev super speed train.
I would say I think we're breaking the pace of a normal London train right now.
Yeah, this is the speed of the train up to London. I reckon.
100 kilometres already, bro.
What? Guys, there is a speedo in each carriage on the ceiling. Okay guys, we've surpassed 200 kilometres an hour now. 225. Wait, it's rapidly speeding up, bro. Oh my god. 3.
第10段
可能把这个治安好的这个事情说大了还是什么，毕竟你从来没有来过这个地方，所以你不知道，或者说你无法体验。大家应该知道我来自意大利，就是说如果一个女孩子一个人晚上出来的话，肯定会被人骚扰的还是什么，这个是肯定的100%的。但是在中国的话呢，我是半夜的时候出来的，而且有的时候还是穿睡衣有的时候是早上很早就出来呀，我从来没有过。
第11段
3 people. For every 1,000 people who applied, only 3 actually got a registration plate, were allowed to buy a car.
This is good conversation, this whole issue, actually, and really interesting. Would you like to guess what was the best-selling car in China in 2017?
Well, Volkswagen have been there forever, haven't they? So I'm going to say the Passat.
I'm going to say it's a mid-size Hyundai of some sort, sort of boxy thing.
And you're both wrong. It's the...
第12段
Amazing places in the world. Its history unparalleled. Its beauty unmatched. Its energy uncontainable. Working there as an expat truly was one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. Now, when you start working in China, you'll quickly realize that the Chinese people are actually some of the hardest working people that you'll ever meet. There's a phrase that has been trending in Chinese internet over the last 2 years, and that is 996. What this refers to is working from 9 in the morning till 9 in the evening, 6 days a week. Now, this 72-hour work week, which is very common in the Chinese tech industry and nearly double what we are used to here in the West, just gives an insight and a testament to why the Chinese economy is growing so fast and rapidly these past few decades. The Chinese work incredibly hard. They work 51...
第13段
I know this. Mandarin? They speak Mandarin, and then in Hong Kong they speak Cantonese.
Yeah. Very good. Where was the 2008 Olympics held?
Beijing.
Why was it held in Beijing?
Isn't it like the capital or something?
Yes. What questions do you have about China?
Feel against the rest of the world?
How do they feel about the rest of the world?
How their relationship to Japan and other Asian countries, if they're more competition or more friendly?
Mainly the communist aspect, like how much control the government has over its people.
Their government system's a lot different to ours, communism, so that's interesting why.
How China suddenly can get so powerful? Actually, I would say because for a long time China was kind of a poor country. Like how did that happen?
Do you want to say anything in Chinese to our audiences that might be watching?
谢谢你们，我真喜欢
第14段
左右的样子。然后我们德国的首都柏林，一个新的机场已经修了10几年了，还没有修完，太可怕了吧？目前来说还没有人知道这个机场到底什么时候才能开，好尴尬。然后我告诉我的这个国外的朋友们，中国很快速的修很多地铁、很多机场、很多商场的这个事情，他们都不会相信，不敢相信。而且中国现在修的不只是很快，而且现在质量也变得越来越好。每年中国包括成都都会有很多新修的东西，很多新的项目，都是让社会和经济发展的更快速更好，也是让成都，也是让中国人的生活变得更有趣，然后也当然更方便。然后这个修新的机场